Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 on the journey to my first powerlifting competition, March 28th in San Diego, California. Today, I'm going to be talking about nutrition and powerlifting. How much should you be eating, and me specifically. And I'm going to take a step back today, and I'm actually going to be a little bit more casual and just talk from the heart about my relationship with food and how I was anorexic and bulimic for about 15 years before embarking on my latest weightlifting journey over the last 3 years with Tom. So if that is something that is triggering and you don't want to listen to, please feel free to skip this episode. But for those of you that are curious and want to know about the journey and what it took and how I'm feeling, what the recovery was like, how the recovery is going, it has not ended. Please stay with me and keep listening. So first, I'm just going to talk generally about nutrition. And so when you're trying to gain muscle, you should be eating at least at maintenance. Maintenance calories can be calculated based on your basal metabolic rate, or BMR, and your activity level. So BMR is calculated based on your height and your weight and your biological sex. And it's an approximation of how many calories your body burns in a day just to survive. So after that, you approximate how much energy you're using above your BMR, and this is based on lifestyle factors such as your day-to-day job. Is it active? Is it sedentary? Are you active outside the working hours? How many days a week do you work out? How intensely do you work out? And then this is a multiplier on your BMR to get you to TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure. So right now, my TDEE is 2,250 calories per day. Realistically, with how much I'm lifting and my goals, which is to gain a ton of muscle and total strength over this it'll be a total of 11 weeks, I should be kind of closer to 2,350 or even 2,500 calories a day. That's a lot. And within that, I need 545 calories to be coming from protein, at least. You need 1 gram of protein per pound of current body weight. That is the recommendation. And again, realistically, I should be eating a bit above that because of my intense weightlifting program right now. And honestly, the protein isn't that hard for me. I'm a meat eater. I've been lifting seriously for about 3 years, so over the last 3 years, I've really learned how to prioritize protein. I'm honestly probably hitting closer to 200 grams of protein a day, which is great for muscle building. However, I really also, in this span of lifting, need to be prioritizing carbs. Carbs are what gives you fuel to complete the lift, and some of my lifts right now are up to an hour and a half, and they're really intense. I'm lifting super heavy, and so I really need to have carbs at night the day before a lift if I know I'm going to be lifting early in the morning, or carbs right in the morning if I know I'm going to lift a little bit later in the day to fuel my lifts. So that's what I should be doing on paper. Let's step back a minute. So a little over 3 years ago, it was past COVID opening. People were starting to travel, people were starting to see people. My husband and I were on the road for a little bit. And I looked at myself in the mirror sometime that year, right before we moved to San Diego, and I just did not recognize myself. I knew something was wrong. So when we moved to San Diego, I walked into the gym and I asked for a trainer that could help me not only regain muscle mass, but also help me with my nutrition because I knew something was off. Tom helped me start logging my food for the first time, and I learned that I was eating between 1,100 and 1,200 calories per day, which is below my BMR. At the time, it was probably close to my BMR, but I was still active. I was still going to the gym, but I wasn't building muscle. I wasn't seeing any changes. I didn't realize that the calories were so low that even though I was weightlifting, there were no results because I wasn't eating enough anything. So over a year, he coached me up from that 1,100 to 1,800 calories a day. And I started building muscle. I started filling out a bit, gaining weight, gaining mostly muscle mass, and I was starting to feel better. About a year in, though, it was a little bit scary. Just a lot of changes happened. I suddenly saw the world in color again. I can't really describe it better than that, but it was almost like I had been living numb before this increase in calories. I was having these really intense emotional highs and lows. A lot of physical things were happening that made me think I was actually pregnant. But then I actually got my period. So I wasn't pregnant, and that was actually the first time I got my period in 3 years. I had thought it was just because of the birth control I was on that I was not getting it. So I went to a bunch of doctors wondering what was happening, what was going on with my hormones. I thought maybe there was something wrong, like the birth control had gone wrong, or I had an ovarian cyst or something, and nobody could really give me any answers. Until one day I was talking to my therapist, and they started asking me some interesting questions about, historically at the time, how often was I working out? How much was I eating? Was I consciously restricting? Was I binging? And pretty much I checked yes to all these boxes. I was restricting, I was binging if ever I ate kind of too much or was something too rich. I was trying to work out 6 or 7 times a week, which is actually not good for you. You do need rest. So all of these are symptoms of anorexia and bulimia, which I had kind of in the back of my mind realized what was happening, but this was the first time I ever said it out loud. So after building up my calories, I realized that all of these weird symptoms were my body healing physically. And to this day, I'm still working on healing the emotional and mental part of it. So my relationship with food is still a little off. I sometimes find it hard to actually eat upwards of 2,200 calories a day. Sometimes if I eat something rich or something I would have considered unhealthy years ago, I still get these nagging thoughts that I shouldn't be doing this. So I was logging very strictly for 2 years, from the beginning of my journey with Tom to about a year and some change ago. And in that time, I learned what a full days of protein, carbs, and fat actually looked like. To be hitting, at that time, 1,800 and then 2,000 plus calories a day. So since then, I actually haven't been logging. I've been going a lot more by feel, which I probably should be logging considering how much I'm working out and how intensely I'm working out right now. But for me, at this moment, it's not serving me. So here's some of the things that I've been doing to make sure I am fueling enough for this journey. So focusing on high density foods. I used to only eat egg whites. I started eating whole eggs, but then I'll usually add an egg white for the extra protein. Spam, very high calorie, peanut butter. Making sure to eat more carbs. I used to hyper restrict carbs, especially to stay in that deficit, and always prioritize protein because it kept me fuller and kept me in that very low calorie maintenance. So now I'm eating protein shakes with oatmeal, overnight oats, lots of toasts with Dave's Killer bread or my favorite Farmer's Market buckwheat bread. I'm eating at least 1 protein bar and 1 protein shake each day. And I'm letting myself snack right now. I'm not ignoring my hunger cues. In this phase, at least, I'm letting myself have some less healthy processed snacks just because of the calories, such as potato chips or veggie straws, Milano cookies, dried fruit and nuts. I do want to say I still eat very healthy overall. I'm trying to keep that 80% whole foods, including lots of yummy big salads, turkey meatloaf, salmon, avocado toast. I don't really fry very much except when I'm eating Spam. And then 20% is whatever you want, whatever I want. Processed foods or going out to a nice indulgent meal. And I am getting much better at not feeling guilty about these things. And this is what I want to inspire others to do. All my clients, I tell them about the 80-20. They don't have to stop eating their favorite foods or going out to their favorite restaurants or hanging out with friends and going out to eat. But 80% of the time, they should be focusing on whole, healthy, nourishing foods. It's all about balance. And I wanted to make this video to show people that despite the fact that I do look strong and physically healthy right now, it was quite a journey to get here, and I'm still working on it. It's an ongoing process. For those of you that have experienced an eating disorder or these symptoms and were or are in denial, please admit it to yourself and seek help from a professional. I promise you it's better on the other side. Enjoying your food, enjoying your body, and what it can do when you're properly nourished. And just enjoying your life in general. I have been enjoying my life more since I started actually properly nourishing myself. As I said, it went from being numb and seeing the world in grayscale to just vibrant color. And you never know where this journey will take you. I walked into the gym, I asked for a trainer who had expertise in nutrition coaching, and that's how I met Tom, who we still have a great relationship to this day. He's a mentor and a friend and a trainer, and my trainer still. He inspired me to become a personal trainer and to help other people on this journey to unlock their strongest and healthiest selves. So, thank you for listening. Please subscribe and follow on Instagram for more. And until next time.